thought they were onto something, and it kind of just grew from there. And here we are today, all joining from three different locations, which is pretty exciting. And I think one of the most compelling things that I've been hearing over the course of the year, and even more so now that more and more people are using spatial, is this incredible sense of presence and the fact that, we aren't together, but yet here we are in this room looking
Mm,
across the carpet, looking at one another as if we were in a room together.
mm,
The To speak to some of the other presence features, one of those is the avatar that you created, and from a 2D photo, our machine learning and AI, in a matter of some few seconds, created the avatar that you see here. And people are
mm,
really drawn to those, and they want more and more representation of what they look like. So have a plan to kind of have Avatar 2.0, where we will be
mhm,
making some improvements to body types and improving skin tones, um, kind of keeping in mind that when somebody has a collared shirt on, how that might impact and come through the avatar, which you may
mhm,
see in some of the avatars, which we're improving, and we'll make it better. But I actually, Aaron, when he was in his demo, him and another gentleman recognized one another. They had met each other at another event, and in spatial, they're like, "Hey, I've met you before." So I think the
Wow,
avatar quality was good enough that
it's pretty
the real
amazing.
world was translated.
Mm.
I think that's one of my
Mm,
favorite stories, and that just happened last week. Um,
wow,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm,
it does, and if you've tried any of the other tools, while the tools are great, one of the big differentiators is the fact that if you have a kind of a computer generated avatar that you create and select the colors and either make it look like yourself, or it's completely not representative of you, it's some sentient being, maybe a robot or something. The When you look across the way and you see that person, you obviously connect with their voice, but having and seeing their actual avatar creates this
mm,
new level of connection that you wouldn't necessarily otherwise have. So expect that these will continually be improved, um, including we will
mm,
be available on a mobile app, iOS,
Mm.
Android, with the front-facing camera. There is some exploration of having better facial features for the avatars, so that could be coming. And not It's still too early to talk about, but that's a possibility. So some of the other things about presence beyond the avatar, as I'm talking and you're turning and moving, you may hear me out of one ear or both ears or the
Mm.
other ear, just depending on which direction you're facing whoever's speaking. And this is
mm,
spatial audio, and this helps draw people's attention to the speaker. And kind of with the current video chat fatigue, I'm not going to call out any brand name video chat services, so I'll keep it general. It's more flashy to use one of them,
mm,
but we all know that, just staring at the computer screen can get quite boring. But once you're in here and you're looking across, there's this new engagement. And from a learning perspective, we know that when you see, do, and hear something, your ability to retain more information is incredibly high, and you get all three of those things by being in spatial. So, from a learning perspective, that is
mm,
also an incredible benefit that people will have being in spatial. Anyhow,
mm,
I normally don't go into such in depth about the presence, but it is a pretty powerful portion of spatial. So it's kind of nice to talk about some of the subtleties that you experience, but
mm,
may not necessarily realize that those were thought out in the design. Um,
mm,
so I'm going to take you through a variety of different presentations and ways that in which people set up the room and talk about some of the universities that we're working with, um, which could be good use cases for you guys as you're kind of considering a variety of different ways, internally, externally, and then events. So there are kind of three different use cases, and I'll touch base on all
Mhm.
of them as we kind of go through. Um, I'm going to start with a basic room, which includes just a presentation. And here it is. And this highlights the different types of content that could be uploaded into the room. There are 2D images, a PowerPoint presentation, which is actually a PDF that we convert and give you the ability to click through the presentation. One great thing about Spatial is the images on the right, you can point your laser towards them. You can pull the trigger and pull that information off the wall. And something you normally would see on your computer screen, now you can hold it, use your lasers, you can resize it. You can bring it close enough to you, pull all the triggers on your controller, grab that object and feel like you're holding it, and also rotate it, turn it around, and now and something that's quite boring and a little bit uninteresting comes alive in Spatial. And it's very easy to move content. Spatial's so easy that your great grandmother can use it. It's very intuitive. Um, uh, oops, I'm for some reason not able to turn anymore. My right controller decided not to allow me to move anymore.
Mhm.
Uh, and I can pass this content over to
All
Anuraj.
right.
Um,
Yep.
and it's kind of fun to interact with content. And somebody pulled off the PowerPoint presentation. So any of the content that you see, you can interact with. The videos over on the left, you can either go up and tap it with your hand or use your laser to start the video. Um, the
Mm.
bottom video here that I just turned on, let me resize this, is showing kind of a design thinking session with our head of design who was at Google, worked on Google Hangouts. Um, and content can be brought in to really highlight information and information that you want to present. So this room that we basically have dismantled was the presentation that we used to close our last round of funding. So we had our um, investors here, and we did this actual presentation with the same content that you
Mhm.
see. So presentations can be very powerful and effective. And beyond just presenting, you can interact and contribute content. So if you look down, you can poke the menu or the blue icon. You can point your laser, pull the trigger. You can grab that menu and pull it up. You can variety of different ways you can interact with it. But if you press the blue button, you have the ability to add notes and search it and do searches, which we'll go into in more in depth. But you also have the ability to draw. So if you click on the scribble button, you can start drawing, and you could write your name, and this can be the drawing feature is very helpful if you're looking at 3D models and or a variety of the ways that you may want to express yourself. You may notice that the drawing is three-dimensional, and from one angle the the text is thin and almost invisible, and thicker in the other way. So this was thought of in a three-dimensional way, but we found that people prefer kind of 2D drawing. So our tools, drawing tools in our next release will greatly improve based on what our users are requesting. And that includes whiteboarding uh, uh, features. And
Mm.
so you'll be able to uh, select different colors and different thicknesses of the drawing tool. But this is kind of a sneak peek at what the beginning of kind of the what drawing is. Um, and then let me take you over to another room. I'll try to keep it focused in on education, but sometimes seeing some of the other use cases
Mhm.
are kind of fun. Sorry, when I select a new room to show you, it deletes everything. So
So
apologize that I just erased everything you guys were working on. Um, so
that's right. That's right.
yes. Um, okay. So now I brought in a 3D model, and we're kind of all looking at it at the same from a different perspective. And so Mattel uses this to look at models. We have architects and developers who bring in drawings that they look at on their computer, and they work with their clients and themselves to
Mm,
iterate on them. They jump in, look at it, see how it looks and feels, and then they make adjustments. And using the scribble tool, you can scribble on this model. Those scribbles will stay with the model as you resize it. And you can
mhm.
also add notes. So change the color of the wheel to blue. So you can create a note with your voice, or you could type it in. You can also create a note from your computer or in Spatial with your headset. Eventually, this note, as you bring it close, it'll turn into a kind of a text bubble, and it'll actually have a feature. All right, give me that back. All
So,
right.
so is it one
All
3D
right.
asset as the whole thing, or can you actually change the color on the fly of the wheel?
Um, so the color of the model or the color of the
Well,
scribble?
if of the wheel, like is saying in the note, can we actively, if you
Uh,
wanted to change the color?
yes. Uh, yeah, that's definitely something more advanced, and
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
I would
future,
have thought.
interacting with models, like could Photoshop or some of these 3D modeling services be embedded? That would be pretty incredible.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I'm talking
currently,
about a visual
the,
editor mode. Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
That's
So
quite
this is
intensive
what our
computing. Yeah.
yeah, so this is what it would look like. The note would then be connected to
Hmm.
wherever you want in the model, and you could pin it, and so we have a lot of new
Right.
features that will be improved. But the really nice thing is people can jump in, feel like they're working together as if they were normally working. But even this expands on uh, our 3D. The people who generally work with 3D models, they find this invaluable because they don't have to 3D print it. They can just quickly look at it. Um, and if you want, you
Mm.
can see this whole experience from a new perspective by just getting inside the
Wow.
model, which is quite fun, and you can
Wow.
feel like you're even driving it. Um, so yeah, so lots of
I must
pretty.
say, it's very smooth, very, very smooth. The whole movement is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going crazy over
Yes,
there. I
I
love
know.
it.
Yes. Wow. Ooh.
Hmm.
Oops.
The easiest and most effective way is to go to Sketchfab, download the GLTF file, Sketchfab, download the GLTF file, convert it to a GLB, and we teach you how to do that on our website, and then you can upload it to Spatial. That's the fastest way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so you can
Feels
feel
like
like
truck.
Elon Musk and break the glass and
Oh,
yeah, so no physics. So
nice.
Um, yeah. This is just kind of another example. So you're wondering, like, well, how do I get these models in here? Well, from the web app, there's a little icon with a paperclip. You click on that. Any file you can upload, and the files that we import are 3D files, GLTF, GLB, FBX, and eventually OBJs and many others. Um, you can upload PNGs and JPEGs, MP4s.
Hmm.
I think that's it. Oh, and PDFs. So PDFs, if it's a PowerPoint, export it to PDF, and it'll be a
Right.
click-through presentation. If you have any animation or videos in your presentation, those won't obviously convert over to a PDF, so you would have to upload those separately.
What's the level of interactivity via computer? You see, there's loads via Quest and other things. So I'm just wondering what level of interactivity people can do if they're accessing via computer.
So right now, people can add notes and searches. They can do audio conversations back and forth. They can share their screen and share their webcam into the space. They cannot move any objects, but that is available.
Just coming out in about
6 weeks. So it's pretty almost immersive, but not quite yet, and the ability to move objects.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, did you?
So if yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah,
I
no.
love it.
Oops.
So if any of you want to try sharing your screen or your webcam into the space, that could be kind of a cool way to demo those features. So if you go to your web app, if you want to share those, then we can just take a look and see what those look like. And sharing your screen is pretty cool because it allows you to bring in content without uploading it, because anything that's on your desktop can be viewed immediately. So you can share your presentation into the room. All right, so we got Peter. So we got your screen here. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, and yeah, nothing ever works the way you want it to immediately. I know.
So how
I
did
feel
you
like I
share your
stare at those.
screen, Peter? How did you share your screen? Do you have to go into your computer? Yeah, right. Just share it that way. Cool. Yeah.
All right, we're taking it
cool.
over. So you can share your screen, and then you can share your webcam into the room. So if anyone wants to try that, it's in the far left bottom left-hand corner of the web app. There's a little.
No, sorry. Where are we exactly? So go plus.
Yeah, go back
did that
to
last
the web
time.
app, and yeah, and then the bottom left-hand corner, there's a icon to share your webcam. Oh, here it is.
So it's not on the menu, Anuraj.
Right.
I think you have to on your computer.
Sorry, not on the menu.
All
No,
right,
it's
there he
in the
is.
web app on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very good.
there he is. Yeah.
Totally meta.
We got a computer on too. Yeah.
And you got your
Very
Corona hair length.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh my God, I love it.
Peter, are you at work or at home? In the office? Oh, you're at. Okay, I thought you might have gone to the office.
Home office.
Home office. Yeah.
Very minimalist wall there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sorry,
that's
we
right.
did this
Very
from the
good,
computer,
yeah.
right? You're saying?
Yes.
This,
Yeah, this is from
the web app.
from the web app. Yeah, where you paired your device, it's the same spot. So same spot where you can. So Peter, you could share a note like Nick did earlier, and you can also do a search. That's one thing we kind of haven't done yet. So let's add a search. Australia. We did a search for Australia, and this comes. That's funny. Is this a dingo? Yeah, it's above this banana plant over here in the corner. Here, I'll put your post-it note where the camera is. The camera is like right there.
I got you.
Yeah. It used to be in a different spot. It's moved a little bit. So so you can do a search in the device, or you could do a search from your computer. and it'll bring in some 3D images if they exist in Google Poly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I guess this is
Nice.
yeah. So these are all the animals I think of when I think of Australia, and they're there.
Yeah. Big library.
Yeah. Oh, the koala is riding the dingo on his back.
That's right.
Funny. So these are a variety of different kind of features and tools that we have, and some of those that people who are considering using spatial for remote learning, whiteboarding, and different environments are kind of key things. So in our next build, there will be kind of a conference table. There will be an option to have no environment, this environment, and then eventually we'll have an auditorium. So there will be kind of like seating, kind of classroom style. Or you could take a 3D model and upload it, scale it to size. Let me see. Let's model into here. So this example here, so you can upload your own model, choose the option of having no environment. So it would kill the environment that we're currently in. There would be nothing and just your 3D model. So you could create whatever experience that you'd like to create for yourselves, for your clients, or for your your big event or events over a long period of time. And you can navigate, you can pin this 3D model so it can't be moved. It's not pinned currently. So currently in Spatial, you can have up to 30 people in a room and 20 people joining from the web app. You can also just scale it down. And a lot of architects like this ability to see models in various ways, but for your use case, this doesn't really kind of, it wouldn't be something you would do. In theory, you could have as many rooms as you want with up to basically 50 people, 30 in the room, 20 on the web app. Obviously, that number will increase with our next release because the performance will increase. I don't know what that number is going to look like, but I'll know once we kind of test it a little bit more as the build becomes more stable.
Can you do like a summit or conference room, or like a bigger version where you got many people attending, like a webinar?
Yeah, you can definitely do a webinar. Some people are hosting this meeting and then live streaming it through Facebook using an Oculus device, or sharing the web app version. I think the view from in the room is going to be better. So you could have, in theory, as many people as you want that are just spectating or viewing it without interacting. So yeah, that's completely up to you, like how you want to manage that. There are not any like admin controls where you can mute everyone, so you just have to just verbally tell people to mute themselves. We anticipate having admin controls for bigger events down the road. I don't know when those will come out, but it's definitely a pretty requested feature. So if you did host an event, you could and everyone had a device, you could have 30 people in this room, 30 people in the next room, and 30 in the other, and you can maybe rotate between events or have the speakers rotate between the rooms. So there's definitely a lot of workarounds, and you can't have 100 people unless you want a portion of them to just be watching without kind of being in the space and being able to contribute. So with the number that you mentioned of 100, there may be some limitations, but if you're flexible, you can definitely work around it. But I love your thinking about having the device and having it being sent to participants. I think. Oh, awesome!
Famous.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow, look at you. Yeah. You'll have to tag yourself in some new photos. So yeah, the possibilities are definitely there, and the feeling of being together is one of those things that people I don't think are able to feel like this when you're sitting across from each other in video chat, just looking at each other, and people have their camera on or they don't have their camera on, and you see their audio yellow rectangle pop on, but you don't really feel connected to them. And if you're looking to create that sense of connection, especially when people are really trying to, they're eager to have this connection that we're experiencing right now. I think once people are in it, their minds are gonna be blown, and they're really going to want more of it. I think it's just getting people in that device, and so you're thinking around having them sent a device is a great idea. You may also consider for those not those opening this up to people beyond the higher price point. We are working with a company that is renting devices to a variety of universities, making it available in a bookstore. So they could, in theory, rent the device, it's shipped to them, then ship back. If they want, they can then purchase it. So you could create better price point options, opening up registration to more people and people that may not necessarily go for the higher ticket price point. But if your audience is the higher price point ticket, then that I would just scrap that idea. But I'm throwing that out there as I don't know how you're yeah, exactly. So uh so let's see. So those are a bunch of different kind of use cases, more specific to what you guys are all thinking about. Obviously, there's like lots of other cool things that you can do, but maybe I'll just pause because I've been just going on, and maybe I can answer just some direct questions that you all have. What's that?
That's been really helpful.
Yeah, it does transform a room, and sometimes we'll like search for champagne and kind of have like some people are like, oh, how do I get into party mode? And really, were doing searches. um, so it's quite fun. Yeah, exactly. And it does take some thinking to imagine what the experience could be like. And we're trying to create more example rooms because, you just look at it and you're like, well, what can I do? And until you have a demo or you're in the space and kind of exploring, you kind of miss some of those opportunities. So, yeah, we're, yeah, we have some more work to do, yeah, on our onboarding experience. All right. Yeah. Anyone need some
Aaron,
water? I
which
love this.
headset are you using?
I'm also on a Quest.
Are you on a? Oh, you're on a Quest too. Okay. So it
Yeah,
works
but
on HoloLens 2, 1, 2 Quest, and quite a few others.
Magically, web app,
Yeah.
and soon to come mobile, and then in real, which is an AR device. Just it's $500, but it is as good as like a Hololens too.
Right.
But I'd say the Quest is, yeah, it's more affordable. And people who have them, they can do a lot of other things with it. So it's kind of quite nice purchase anyways, if people are interested in technology. Um, so I think that's smart. You may consider checking out in real if people are really into AR and VR. We can make some introductions to them. It's more specific to Android at the moment, so it would be more for people with Android devices. But I think in general, the app store on the Quest has a lot of opportunity. So yeah, lots of options. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So can we
So
actually
what do you
move
guys?
to a different location
Really helpful
from here?
Yeah, we could go to another room. I could open another room, share that link, and we could all go to it. Because we're not in the same org, if I went to another room, you wouldn't necessarily see it unless I shared that specific link with you.
Oh, okay.
But
so you can't like take us together to another location?
No, not
That's
kind of like
like a
alt
new feature.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite fun. I love that
Yeah.
feature. I think that could be something we do down the road. We started out as like an enterprise solution on an AR, so we're just kind of doing catch up as the pandemic happened, and the people want access to spatial, and so we're going to take us a little bit longer to kind of get to cool features where I say, okay, everyone point your laser towards the water bottle and I will take you to this cool room. So, I mean, that's like the ultimate experience. How fun would that be? So, that's so
teleporting. Truly.
yes. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll eventually be down into that at one point. I just know what our roadmap is, and I know that's not on it in the short term, at least through September. But I'm definitely excited about that potential. So what do you guys think? And what other questions can I answer for you? And are there other things you're like, hey, this would be better if you had this? Any of those feedback and comments, I'm always up for to hear what you all think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, right now you wouldn't have to pay anything. I mean, Spatial's free at the moment, so uh, at least through August, potentially longer. So after that, we will have a pro tier, um, and our enterprise solution is quite expensive. But I'm assuming that most of the usage and interest at how you want to use Spatial will fall under the pro tier, which could look like similar prices to maybe Slack, and maybe somewhere there, maybe even a little bit less. We haven't fully decided what that might be. Uh, so we and I have been talking to quite a few people who do want to run events, and there's lots of discussion. No one has had their events yet. The Institute for the Future, based in San Francisco, they're planning an event in the fall, and taking their event online. So they're all in planning. They're figuring it out. So I don't have any cases that have like launched and happened. I know a guy hosted an event yesterday. He had 5 people in Spatial, and then he did a live stream of it. So I know he did that yesterday. I wasn't able to attend, but he did like a design thinking session and shared it with people. Um, so we're kind of, we just launched, so people are like, oh, wow. And they've quickly realized like, hey, I could do some pretty amazing events in Spatial. So they've mostly been planning and, doing any event. It takes, if you want a successful one, you need a minimum of 3-month lead time. Uh, and, but I host events every Friday and I've had up to 30 people easily. And I do a bunch of design thinking and working collaboratively with users to get feedback. And those sessions go extremely well. I share the link. Almost a majority of the people have no problem getting into the headset. Audio's worked great. Once in a while, somebody had some networking issues on their end and had to jump off, but it was actually quite rare. The minimum requirements and support I had are one of our researchers joined me for a session earlier, and he, from his 4G phone, had joined the meeting with no problem the entire time. So we're not sending too much data in terms of like location of your avatar. It starts to get a little bit choppier if you're joining from your phone when there's a lot of content in the room. So I think what you want to do, I know, is it's pretty amazing, and I invite you guys to maybe beta test our phone app to get a sneak peek at it and how you might use it. But I have no doubt in my mind you would host successful events in spatial. I think it's a matter of why don't you get a group of people together that just want to meet to chat or share ideas and just do it together. And I think that's like really one of the best ways to do it. You can just send a link to say, hey, I'm hosting a meeting. Do you have a quest? Come join me. I'm going to talk about X and X. Or, hey, let's just have a happy hour and get together. I think just being in spatial with a large group of people, you'll really get a sense of what that experience is like. We have a small
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty we're pretty aggressive actually on the Quest. It's our number one used device. It's a high percentage of usage. So we have hand tracking coming out, new environments. We're basically doing everything and anything that people ask us to do to improve, assuming it makes logical sense and we have the dev team to support that feature. Right now, it feels like we're in one big elevator together, but we will have audio areas where sound will dampen and you can have breakout sessions and people want to go out onto the patio and talk separately from being in the room. So a lot of those things will be coming down as well. So I anticipate what you see here is kind of just the beginning. So in a year from now, this will, I think, be incredibly refined, be able to support a lot more people, even more stable, and the performance will be that much greater easily in a year from now. So,
no, I think we see the potential. It's amazing. You've achieved so much in a short time frame. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I have one tomorrow. You guys are definitely welcome to join. I basically just do a brainstorming session with new users. It's 8 a.m. my time, so I don't think anyone really joins that one from the side of the world because of the time difference. So, I yeah, I think you're all sleeping at that point. I think it's like midnight or something. So, but if you can't sleep or you're awake, you are welcome to join. I will just reply with the link, and you're welcome to join me if you're free. I think it'll be a fairly small group tomorrow. I haven't necessarily promoted it that much because actually I found out we have a holiday tomorrow, so I kept it small. So but if you do join, you'll get to see like how it could be used. But setting up a panel and kind of a think tank session, and I think it's a great way to get started. And I'm seeing those easy use cases bubbling up sooner than later, just because those are kind of more easy to put together. So I think that's a great way to do it. So
yeah, good idea.
Yep.
Yeah. And I do a once a month like invite only event where it's kind of like a forum where we just kind of talk in general. I also encourage you to join my Slack channel, or the Spatial Slack channel. I say my because I created it. But there is a Slack channel for education, and that might be a good channel to kind of meet other people from Cornell and other universities that we are kind of, that are using spatial, and there's a university in Tokyo and all over the world that are using spatial, including Columbia, who I just had a conversation with. So I think, it's not, no one wants to reinvent the wheel, but it's also very easy to imagine how with uploading a few objects, you could easily transform this space into a quick meeting. I have daily user sessions where I meet with them on a consistent basis, and I have a folder of all the files. I upload them within 1 minute. I have them in the right place, and I can have my meeting. So it's kind of that easy to kind of get a room set up. So, but it does take some thinking, and I have a sense from you guys that you have that creative mind to transform a space into something amazing. So I think you're going to have no problem.
Yeah, no, it's been really helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is such a pleasure. Now I've met four of the people from Singularity University, so this is very, very exciting. And if you have questions, just message me on Slack directly, and I'm happy to answer them. And as you're thinking about things going forward, I know just kind of having a resource can be helpful just as you're kind of initially getting going.
Can you send us the Slack link, please? Or
the Slack
is it on that
link.
email?
No, but it's guestinvite.spatial.io. If you enter your email in there, then you'll be able to join it. But I'll send it to you all.
Yeah, just email us.
Not at all. I'll reply with the link tomorrow to tomorrow's event, and then the Slack channel. So
wonderful. Yeah.
All right.
Brilliant.
Great to meet you.
Great.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, same here.
Yes. All right. Peter, such a great to meet you. Nick. Woohoo.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Anuraj.
We don't have to worry about the 6 to 10 feet rule.
No. All very good here.
Yeah. No face masks, no nothing. So,
Which part of San Francisco?
Cough. What's that?
Are you near downtown San Francisco, or where are you based?
Yeah, I live in San Francisco. I live almost down. I live in the city itself. Maybe four train stops until the office. It's very beautiful here.
Where's your office?
Our office is downtown San Francisco. It's second in Mission, and we're growing. So I don't know how much longer we'll be there.
Yeah,
but right now we're all working from our homes at the moment. So
right,
brilliant. Thanks, Aaron. I'm going to jump out.